We got a 2017 6.7 Powerstroke on the dyno. The engine on this thing is completely stock. So we're gonna dyno this thing, see how much power it makes. Then we're gonna delete it. We'll do some other tests, and of course, we're gonna dyno it again. First, if this is something you're considering on doing to your truck, make sure you look up your local laws and stay in accordance with them. If this is illegal where you live, I don't recommend you do it. All right, let's do this. All right, let's see what we got. The best horsepower, we got 340. The max torque, we got 602 foot-pounds. These first two runs were in 4th gear, because that's the closest to a 1-to-1 ratio. Gives you the most accurate torque number. That's where we built 600 foot-pounds. And then these other 4 runs, I thought we could get more out of it, and we did. These are in 5th gear, and that's where we got 340 horsepower. But our torque dropped to 524 because it's an overdrive gear. So we're gonna install a 5-inch exhaust, get rid of the EGR, and do some easy link shift on the fly tuning, and then we'll run it again. So these trucks come with 440 horsepower at the crank. We only got 340 horsepower on the dyno. A lot of that is just driveline loss, but this truck does have 24x14 forged wheels and 36-inch mud tires. So that's gonna eat up a ton of horsepower.
This is the kit we're using in this video. It starts at $1,600, but we went with an easy link on this one. It's just a little bit more options for tuning, and we went with a full 5-inch exhaust. I will put a link to this kit in the description.
But anyways, we now have a 5-inch straight pipe exhaust on this girl. If we go around to the engine, you will see that this big section, that big open section, that's where the EGR was. It's not there anymore. We programmed it with Easy Link, and then we have a switch right here, 5 different power levels. I installed a hiss tune on it. You can do hiss tune or rumble tune, so it just sounds different at idle. I'll show you the difference with both of them. We are gonna go take this thing for a drive and see how it responds. We tune the transmission, so I wanna go drive it a bit before we throw it on a dyno. We're gonna see what kind of fuel mileage it gets. And again, with a 6-inch lift and massive wheels and tires like this, the fuel mileage is gonna be like way down compared to what it should be if it was stock. And then we're gonna come back and put her on the dyno and see how much power we gained. So let's fire this thing up. Like I said, right now it has the hiss tune installed. You can tell me what you think. So that's the hiss tune. We're gonna go drive this thing and we'll switch to a rumble tune after, and I'll show you what the difference is. So when you tune the transmission on these trucks, you're supposed to kind of do like a relearn process. The transmission's memory is always learning and adapting, but what it wants us to do in this one is 3 pulls in the hot power tune hole these tires rub bad. And it wants us to go all the way to 80 miles an hour basically. First run's at like 25% throttle. And second run, you do the same thing at 50% throttle, and the third run, you go through all the gears at like 100% throttle. Doing 100% throttle pulls are always scary in my opinion, but here we go. This thing rips, especially with these big tires, holy smokes. So we're gonna quickly see what kind of fuel mileage we're getting. After that, we're gonna listen to the sound of it, and then we're gonna run it on the dyno. I'm gonna do the measurements in Canadian terms, but I will put the US measurements on the screen as well, so you guys know. Okay, I just reset the fuel economy. We're doing 100 kilometers an hour right now, and we are getting 13.2 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's actually pretty good considering the size of lift and tires. Now I'm going to accelerate up to 110 kilometers an hour. I'm gonna reset it again. At 110 kilometers an hour, we are getting 15.6 liters per 100 kilometers. Again, that's not bad considering, right? And just for shits and giggles, let's do 120 kilometers an hour. We are getting 16 liters per 100 kilometers. This is an old abandoned highway that they built a new highway around it, so it's where I come do my tests, but it looks like some people come here and walk their dogs, so there's somebody down there walking their dogs I gotta watch out for. But I'm gonna set my camera up. I'm gonna do a couple drive-bys and a couple pulls, and we'll see what this 5-inch straight pipe sounds like. hopefully you can hear that exhaust brake at that last pull there. But man, this thing rips. That first pull I did, the tires spun and it smoked quite a bit right off the start. I am in the max power tune, by the way. So it's honestly not very smoky of a tune. It only smokes kind of right off the bat. If I was in a lower power level, then it wouldn't be smoking like that. I don't recommend you drive around in the hot setting all the time. A more responsible setting would be like 3, and I think 3 is still like 120 horsepower or something ridiculous like that. But we're gonna go dyno this thing. We're gonna dyno it in the number 1 setting, and we'll also dyno it in the number 5 setting and kind of see what difference we get. All right, we're loaded up on the dyno. Straps are still loose though. Here's a tip, you always want to keep your straps a little loose, and then you want to roll the truck and it's just going to center itself over those rollers. And then once it's centered, then you really tighten it down. Got the exhaust hose on, take the cap off. Let's do some coal rolling. All right, we're loaded up on the dyno. And just before the dyno, I wanna say, if you guys enjoy these videos and you wanna show me a little more support, you can go to darkirondiesel.com, get some super sweet merch. It helps me out a ton. It helps fund projects like the 2nd gen. Anyways, let's dyno this thing. I'm gonna do a few power runs in the number 1 setting and then a few in number 5. We'll do a couple in 4th gear and then a couple in 5th gear. Let's see what we get. Okay, so that was the stock power tune. Let's see what we got. So in stock, these first 2 runs are in 4th gear and we made 336 horsepower, 700 foot-pounds of torque. That's very similar to what it made when it was completely stock with emissions on. In 5th gear, we got 329 horsepower and the torque number was lower, but it's gonna be lower because it's an overdrive gear. We don't really care about that. Let's put it in number 5 and see how much power this thing can really make. Let's see what we got in tune 5. So these first 2 runs were in 4th gear. We got 451 was the best for horsepower, and we got 996 foot-pounds of torque, which is really good for these big wheels. Then we tried a couple runs in 5th gear. We got 461 horsepower. That was our max, and then obviously the torque dropped. It's an overdrive gear. You're not gonna have good readings of torque in that gear. But that's pretty good. That's about 120 horsepower increase than what it was when it was completely stock. So this truck with stock wheels would be over 500 horsepower and well over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. So just before we end this video, I still have to show you what that rumble tune sounds like. Got the Easy Link hooked up. We're just programming the rumble tune on. So let me know in the comments which you like better, the hiss or the rumble tune. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this kit. I really like how the truck drives. Everything went together really good. Again, the link is in the description if you want to check this kit out for yourself. If you want to show your support, go to darkirondiesel.com, get yourself some super sweet merch. Follow me on Instagram at darkirondiesel. I post lots of dyno videos there and short form content. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you on another video soon.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.